Hundreds of Fonterra shareholders turned out for the cooperative's AGM in Whangarei on Thursday this week. After a season in which both a record payout and record production were recorded, many may have assumed the co-op would focus on its recent successes. But the first speaker of the day, Chairman Henry Whangarei, had other plans.
This will be my second to last annual meeting. I'll be standing down as chairman at the annual meeting of 2012. And I want you to be the first ones to know that.
Sir Whangarei says the board has been discussing leadership for the last several years, and both he and the board think next year is the right time for him to go.
I know that Andrew has stood up in front of many people and said that he's left on a high. Like I said in my speech, we are $1.50 behind, but I will be putting a lot of pressure on management to make sure that they can deliver. And now that I know that Teo's in charge, and we both have Dutch heritage, I think you know what's going to happen next. Thank you very much.
Fonterra's new CEO, Teo Spearings, made it clear that he is aware of widespread farmer concern about trading among farmers.
I cannot disclose things here, but we have a serious look at it. We have options on the table, and we will be able to come back to the farmers in the middle of December on where we are going with your concerns on the custodian, because that's one of the key concerns which we heard in the farmer base. So before Christmas, you have an answer from us on what options do we see and what do we recommend.
However, while all the big cheeses made their case for TAF being the right vehicle for Fonterra to retain capital and the custodian being no big deal, it was clear a lot of the shareholders simply didn't buy it.
We have been made aware of deep concern amongst the Fonterra shareholder base in regards to parts of TAF, specifically roles of the custodian and some of the changes that have been implemented from when TAF was first mooted.
Fonterra did an excellent job in selling TAF to farmers. They did a lot of research on it, but are we having second thoughts? And they are the questions that, are we going to be given the opportunity to go back and revisit that as farmers?
Well, my question I really think is, Henry, you're passing the buck here. The question that was asked was, would you come for a second vote? But I guess the question I want from you is, do you have the courage, or what are you afraid of by taking a vote back to farmers? If it's so good and it's so logical, why don't you give farmers, the owners of this business, the final say?
Despite the rules of the game changing halfway through the match, it seems Fonterra won't allow farmers another vote.
Let's be very clear what we voted on. Farmers have given 90% support, a mandate, and almost 80% of our farmers actually voted, a mandate to go away and implement and execute TAF.
Also at the meeting, Fonterra farewelled long-standing director Greg Gent. Mr. Gent made it clear he thought farmers should always remember who made Fonterra possible and enabled the sector's success.
Prime Minister Clark, I think we all owe her a massive thank you, and that was always probably underestimated, I think, around what she did to allow us to be formed. She rode over the top of her officials and said, we will go against commerce law, antitrust legislation, and this organisation will be formed.
The board also welcomed South Taranaki-based David McLeod, who campaigned for his director's seat on the principle of getting the balance right.
The connectedness, that's about getting this economic and environmental balance right, so that we maintain our licence to operate. Basically, we've got certain parts of New Zealand that have pressures on them for their existence and such. So it's really important that we work with the regulatory authorities, be it the regional council or even if it's at a central government level, to ensure that we can continue to operate successfully into the future as dairy farmers.
And in May next year, Fonterra's board will also gain banker Sir Ralph Norris. Benedict Collins, Country 99 TV News.